Part two really quick, because I know, ruining your life and, going for parties and cocktails is not the only reason why some people choose to get an abortion. I think that there's so many different factors that contribute to the ease of getting an abortion. Number one, I feel like we should have more resources available to women so that they can actually make a truly educated decision, because I feel like it's very one-sided. When you go to Planned Parenthood, they're not giving you both scales or both options. It's like, oh yeah, abortion, get it, it's no problem. They make it seem so simple. And that, once you're done, you're done. It's just one simple procedure. But there's an aftermath. And the woman who ends up getting the abortion is the only one who has to deal with that aftermath. So aside from that part, there's very little health clinics that offer information on keeping your baby and resources and support. Because a lot of, especially if you're a new mom, it's scary. And there's a lot of women out here that don't have support. They don't come from a good family. A lot of them come from abuse. And I feel like there's so much trauma in our society. So many people have so many deep-rooted, valid issues for why they feel like they can't have children, I feel like there's a lot of people that have like an emotional disconnect because of how they were raised and what they've been through. And I completely can see that. Coming from somebody who can look back on myself as being someone who was very like emotionally disconnected, in the sense of like being attached to people and loving them, my child completely changed that. And I went from somebody who didn't even want kids, never really thought about getting married, to craving this like Susie homemaker life. Like, I want a bazillion kids. I want to be home with them. I want to wear an apron and make dinner. And not that that's for everybody. I completely understand. But I'm just saying, like, once you have a child and you go through the pregnancy, your hormones, your maternal instincts, your instincts change, is what I'm saying. So when we're brought up the way that we are, whatever traumas we carry, whatever lack of emotional connection we've had, can truly change once you have your child. But then even after that comes, it's still difficult. And a lot of it comes from people who don't have support, whether it's emotional support, financial support, any support that you lack then adds to your stress level. Your stress level then rolls into your kids. And even coming from somebody who you would consider completely supported, when I did have mine, I had grandparents that helped. There's still stress, it's still there, but that never outweighs the love that you have for your kid. There's not 1 second that I have ever wished that I didn't have the kids that I have, no matter how difficult, how crazy I felt, how out of my mind I felt. I could never imagine my life without them. So, and it's hard for me, I'm going to admit, to imagine having a kid and not loving them that way, even though I definitely know that there's situations out there where women have children and they struggle with the connection for their child. They struggle with the love for their child. And that, again, I think is rooted in a lot of trauma. So I'm not saying that having children is easy, but I think that our social norm has also become, if it's difficult, get rid of it. You don't need that in your life. You don't need that stress. Where trauma, suffering, struggles, they build us. They make us stronger. They make us who we are. And that comes with our children as well. My children have shaped and molded me for the better in so many ways that they'll never know. maybe once they have their own. But so that was part 2 of my thought. Just because it's hard or you don't see the end note or the end result, don't give up. I'm glad that I'm seeing a lot more pregnancy resource centers. They're not government funded like Planned Parenthood used to be. I don't know if that got cut or not, which all I'm saying is if you want 2 sides of the coin, you want abortions to be everywhere and people to have access to them, why not give those people a resource to keep their child as well? Because I want to say, out of all the women that I've either heard stories of or talked to personally, I would say 98% of them, 98.999, have openly said that they regret it, and it's a horrible trauma that they've experienced. Because that maternal instinct doesn't kick in until you're actually pregnant. And when you remove your chance, before you even have a chance to understand what that maternal instinct is and how it's going to kick in for you, you remove your opportunity to deal with it. It's a very traumatic scenario. And I only said 98.9999% is because obviously you see a lot of these videos of these women, openly boasting about their abortions, like, oh, I killed like 10 babies already, and I feel like these women, again, have so much deep-rooted trauma that there's such an emotional disconnect. And I think if you really, truly sat them down and had deep conversations with them about their life and their trauma, if they were truly not regretful at all, if they truly felt that they made 100% the right decision, or if it's just a front. And I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist, but